afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Fireside Chat with Misha Ahmad on CxO Global TV. CxO Global Forum is an information sharing platform which involves our influencers who are heads and VPs of large companies. These people, with no doubt, have made massive changes in their working arena. Our aim is to get digital global exposure, especially in digital transformation and innovation around the globe. However, it's an honor for us in contributing to the world of knowledge economy. So today we have Mr. Ibad Shah with us, who is Deputy Manager, Information Security in an FMCG-based organization. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here.
So, first of all, I would like to ask you about your educational background. How did you start, and how did you start working in an FMCG based company?
My typically I mean I did my high school as a pre med student. I had this fascination about computers and technology since the beginning. So I found that pretty interesting and pretty fascinating. And then um, I was doing stuff on my own, but like I mean, learning and things like that. So since childhood, it was been um probably because my one of my teacher who used to teach me computer science in grade seven, that kind of helped me to explore this modern field about computers and programming and stuff like that. So started as programmer basically, but I had this you can say this interest in information security and cybersecurity, and then made my way ahead by learning stuff how to program and how to make a secure program. And once I was there, I further tried to explore all of the other domains, and you can say or the opportunities that can be explored within the information security. So the place where I work actually is a very great organization. And yeah, it's I've been working with the financial industry mostly, in the software development company as well. So it's pretty much different than all of the industries, but yeah, it's really exciting.
Right? Since you have a background in technological world specifically, now I would like to know that how do you think about the role of FMCG in IT basically?
So I mean, FMCG organizations are basically, sometimes they are the backbone or the asset of a country, of the people. You can say needy people. You can say the people who are actually getting benefit out of that. So let's say uh, we have I mean companies who are actually providing energy, the power we are using, all right. Some of the organizations are providing uh, foods. Some of the organization are actually providing medical based medication, and some are actually involved in the industrial development, let's say building houses, building homes. So organizations like FMCG are a kind of organizations that are creating an impact, a positive impact in the people, in the life of anyone who is actually living a life. And yeah, if technology is actually now growing um, exponentially, and then this is the kind of stuff where technology is really, I mean, the organizations are really getting benefit of the technology as much as they can. So yeah, it is something very benefiting for the people, very fruitful for the people, and for the organizations as well.
Right? We know that these FMCG corporations are working for the benefits of the benefit of people. Now, what do you think about the digital transformation that we've been witnessing in Pakistan, especially?
Mhm. So back in my days when I used to work with financial industries, there was a really huge change in the financial industry and financial sector in Pakistan. Um, I mean, back in days, nobody knew about mobile wallets. Nobody knew about how to transfer money digitally. But now you can see you can pay your bills through mobile phone. You just have to open up your app, swipe, and you're done. In other words, most of the markets, most of the stores, most of the the shops are actually adopting this digitization culture. Since the pandemic, actually, unfortunately, things are moving in a very I would say right direction, because this is what digitization actually requires to adopt digital. I can say the culture and yeah, the acceptance of how to process things digitally, and how to create an awareness among the people, so that this can create um, a kind of ease in their lives. Back in days, you had to stand in a row in front of banks, pay a bill, let's say an electricity bill or a gas bill, even though your internet bill. But now everything is done through a mobile app. Everything is done through a USSD code, probably. So it is creating a huge impact, and I can see this, getting more better and more diverse, because the regulator here has introduced a lot of um, opportunities for startups, for fintechs to get involved, and benefit the people here in Pakistan, and making their lives uh, more a kind of livable, I think.
Right, sir. So, further, I would like to know that since you're part of a company which is FMCG based, so how do you think that the burning issues of Pakistan, such as food, water, and all these things, how these companies are working for such issues, and how they have been taking such initiatives in order to overcome the such issues.
Okay, so I'll start with one of the great example, which is the vaccines. Vaccines are actually helping a lot in um, curing, not actually curing, but creating a kind of immunity among the people. So how do these vaccines are developed? They are developed in the lab, the scientists, the people who are actually involved. And once they are done with the development, they are actually producing it on a mass scale, and then they are uh, sent abroad, and people living within the country that has been actually producing this kind of vaccine are adopting are I mean getting immune to that, getting facilitated by getting the vaccines. So these FMCG based organizations are creating a huge impact in the society, as well as for the people. Um, when we talk about water, some of the organizations are creating treatment plants in countries, and we can see some of them here in Pakistan, that are actually purifying the water, and providing. You might have seen some of them in the um, I would say remote areas of the Pakistan, um, creating clean and safe water for the people. And then in the field of transportation, setting up industries here in Pakistan. So let's say um, you would have seen a drastic change in the um, production, in the um, I mean buying cars in Pakistan rather than importing them from outside Pakistan. So this is something very positive for the economy, for the country, which has been l- um, I mean, we have 70% of the people, 70% of population belong to the um, middle. I mean, the middle tier of our age. Let's say between 20s to 30s.
Right.
So this is a kind of place where companies like these are creating an awareness among the people, and buying stuff locally rather than just getting dependent upon stuff bought from or imported from abroad. And yeah, it's all there.
Right, sir. Sir, as you've mentioned very briefly or very, in a very elaborated way that how we've been working or FMCG companies are working. So, do you see any competition or companies, especially in Pakistan, in competition with the other companies outside Pakistan?
There is always competition when it comes to quality, when it comes to feasibility, when it comes to um, like I was just trying to explain the fact that people are when we talk about vaccines, people are actually uh, I mean, there was a myth that there was a myth, a rumor, or I mean, spread around, spread in within the country and outside the country, which is these kind of vaccines that has been brought from this specific country is not very curable or very good in nature, I would say, rather than the one that has been developed abroad or somewhere other than the um, western side of the globe. And people were actually reluctant to get those specific vaccine rather than purchase the one that has been developed outside Pakistan in the um, western side of the globe. So yeah, there will be always a competition. There will be always um, uh, it's all about how do you provide goods, you can say, product on a cost that is being bared by every person who's living in the society, I would say.
Right. So, as you've mentioned about the vaccination, and we're talking about the vaccine for this COVID-19.
Mhm, mhm,
My
mhm.
next question would be that, sir, what do you think, or what, in your opinion, uh, there are some of the challenges that these FMCG corporations have faced, especially in the pandemic?
uh yeah, one of the challenges were continuing the work. I mean, it was all about before the pandemic, people didn't actually had this idea about working remotely or working from home. But then this was something we were forced to do. Everybody had to do this, and then most of the organizations adopted this specific culture of allowing people to work from home. And then some of the organizations were really props to them, having this kind of gratitude for their employees, like allowing them to continue working from home and providing them even basic stuff which relates to having a desk, having a chair, internet facility and stuff like that. So it was pretty difficult while shifting from a normal office hours to getting a remote a kind of remote working model. But yeah, it is now sustainable because uh, people, I mean, the culture was to visit the office and do your stuff rather than going back home. Unfortunately, this is mostly, I mean, you would find everywhere that people do actually find comfortable working in the office rather than working from home. But now you can see that with the new adoption of work from home model, um, things are continued, things are still moving, and things are still, I mean, there's no stop in the business, there's no stop in the organization, processes in the organization changes. So one of the main challenges was how to educate and aware the people who were not even working, who were not even, I mean, this was their first time to work from home. So how to
Right.
connect them to the internet, how to, give them a kind of awareness. And then security is one of the part where, even though if you are working in the organization and connecting remotely, you have to make sure that all of the elements are considered, uh, and by keeping security in mind. So some of the challenges were really, really tough, but as the time passed by, um, more and more solutions were being, you can say, reviewed, or you can say considered, and then the same were implemented.
Right, sir. Well, thank you so much for your wise words. Sir, before moving towards my next question, I would like to know your opinion regarding forums like CXO.
I find this really interesting when, I mean, it's a kind of a forum where you would find people from a different organization, from a different background, from a different experience, and then sit, uh, um, I mean, have a chat with them, sit with them, have some discussion with them. A kind of, it always creates a kind of awareness among the people who are, who are having experience pretty much different than the industry they are actually working. So CXO is actually creating a kind of, an awareness, a kind of a collaboration, among the people. And then, yeah, you find some people like minded giving a great opinion on things you are very, some things that are really intriguing, and some things you are very confused about, and you need an opinion on that. And yeah, I mean, uh, props to CXO actually, doing a good job with that, in that perspective.
Thank you so much for your wise words, sir. With
Likewise.
that,
Likewise.
I would like to end our session today. Ladies and gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
this was it for today, and we thank Mr. Ibad once again for giving us his precious time. And if you have any queries, anything you want to know, you can always visit our profile, or you can drop your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much and keep watching. Thank you so much, sir, once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.